When the flash flood warnings came in, everyone panicked, except the 72-year-old mayor. While others shouted and argued, he quietly picked up his radio and started giving orders with a precision that made people stop and listen. His voice carried an authority nobody knew he possessed. He'd been living in Cedar Creek for 47 years, serving as mayor for the last 15. He'd drive around town in his old pickup, organizing garbage collection schedules, arranging streetlight repairs. Neighbors called him Mayor Tom, always smiling, never in a hurry, patiently listening to problems. But nobody ever wondered why he updated search and rescue phone numbers every month, why he always carried a compass in his pocket, or why he knew the exact location of every house in town by heart. Not until that morning, when the weather alert came in and they faced the biggest crisis of their lives. Hello, and welcome to The Last Stand. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster in your hometown? Share your experiences in the comments. We share stories daily, so don't forget to subscribe. Thomas "Tom" Carter was the earliest riser in Cedar Creek. 72 years old, medium height, gray hair, and always clean-shaven. He'd been Cedar Creek's mayor for 15 years. The town was small, 1,847 residents, a peaceful place surrounded by mountains. Every morning he followed the same routine, raising the flag at the flagpole, checking streetlights, watering flower pots. Nobody questioned why he performed these routines with military precision. Tom's office was neat and organized. Town maps, phone numbers, and emergency plans hung on the walls. In one of the drawers was a notebook nobody had seen, containing coordinates of every house, number of residents written inside. The people of Cedar Creek loved Tom but found some of his habits strange. Every month he updated fire department, ambulance, and search and rescue phone numbers. Better to be prepared, he'd say. He carried an old compass in his pocket. Might seem odd in the GPS age, but Tom trusted it. Strangest of all was how he knew the location of every house in town by heart. Mayor Tom, where's 34 Oak Street? You'd ask, and he'd tell you not just the address, but who lived there, how many kids they had, whether there were elderly residents. He knew it all. At council meetings he was usually quiet. But when he needed to speak, his words were few but impactful. The topic Tom spent most time on was emergency preparedness. Every year he'd prepare detailed plans, evacuation routes, gathering points, communication protocols. He's overdoing it. Some would say, what could happen in Cedar Creek? But Tom insisted. Preparation doesn't hurt. Hope we never need it. Every 6 months he'd conduct emergency drills with volunteers. During these drills, some noticed Tom change. His voice became more decisive, his movements more coordinated, his commands more precise. On the morning of October 27th, Tom woke up early, but the weather forecast was concerning. A storm system from the west was bringing much more rain than normal. 8 inches in 72 hours was the forecast. Cedar Creek was built in a valley between mountains. This meant serious flood risk. Tom watched the weather reports while drinking his coffee, then started making phone calls. First call was to the Weather Service. Tom Carter, Cedar Creek Mayor. I need information about the storm. Over the next 2 hours, he spoke with County Emergency Management, Forest Service, Fire Department. He asked the same questions in every call. At 10 o'clock, he called council members for an emergency meeting. 5 council members gathered in the town hall: Mary Johnson, Bob Patterson, Linda Hayes, James Wilson, and Rebecca Chen. Folks, said Tom, his voice carrying an unusual seriousness. Serious storm coming. 8 inches of rain in 72 hours. Cedar Creek might flood. Mary frowned. Aren't you exaggerating? Tom spread a topographic map on the table. It had colored markings on it. Our town is at the lowest point of the valley. The creek is normally 3 feet deep, but in heavy rain it can rise to 15 feet. What do you suggest? Rebecca asked. Tom's plan was ready, as if he'd thought about this before. Let's identify at-risk homes. He drew a line with a red pen. Within 500 meters of the creek. 47 households, 134 people. Linda was surprised. How do you know these numbers? Part of being mayor. Evacuation plan. Highway 9 is safe. The school is on high ground, can serve as emergency shelter. James asked. Who makes the decision? Tom hesitated. I do. Responsibility's mine. That afternoon, Tom took action. He visited at-risk homes one by one. Mrs. Henderson, the storm could get serious. Keep your important items ready. He gave clear instructions to his grandson, Michael. Make a list of elderly and sick residents. Note their medication needs. Grandpa, you talk like you've done this before. Experience, son. Comes with age. At 6 p.m., the rain started. The first hours were light, but Tom was worried. At 9 p.m., he made a radio announcement. Storms intensifying. Those living by the creek should be prepared. Tom didn't sleep all night. He checked the creek level every hour. At 2 a.m., things changed. Cedar Creek was rising rapidly. Normal 3 feet, now 8 feet, and still rising. Tom called the county center. Cedar Creek, Mayor Carter. Creek at critical level, starting evacuation. Support teams are en route, but it'll take 2 hours. 2 hours was too long. At 3 a.m., the alarm sounded. Tom activated the siren system. All Cedar Creek residents, emergency evacuation. Creekside homes are priority. Gather at the main school. Panic began. People rushed from their homes, shouting, not knowing what to do. That's when Tom changed. Michael, said Tom, his voice now completely different. Take the radio, channel 16. Call County Center. Tell them Colonel Thomas Carter is commanding emergency operations. Michael froze. Colonel? Tom was no longer the 72-year-old mayor. His posture straightened. His voice became decisive. Authority filled his eyes. Yes, son. Now go to school. Set up evacuation center. Special area for elderly, separate for children. But Grandpa, no time for talking now. Go. Michael had never seen his grandfather like this. That voice carried undeniable authority. Tom took the radio and began announcing to the town. This time he was giving commands. Cedar Creek residents, evacuation operation has begun. No vehicle exit from Main Street. Single, direction traffic from Oak Street. One evacuation coordinator from each house. People suddenly calmed down. That voice, those commands were so precise and reliable. Tom stood on the main street and surveyed his surroundings. After 47 years, he was commanding an operation again. Bob, coordinate fire vehicles. Linda, stay in contact with ambulance teams. James, manage logistics at school. Mary, calm the children. Rebecca, assess medical emergencies. The most critical task remained for himself, rescuing elderly people still in their homes. His old pickup was now a rescue vehicle. First stop was Mrs. Henderson, 84 years old, in a wheelchair. He waded into the water to enter the house. Mrs. Henderson, it's Tom. We're getting you out. I'm so scared. I'm here. I'll get you somewhere safe. Same calmness, same certainty at every house. People trusted him because he trusted himself. At 5:30, he faced the toughest case. The Patterson family, elderly couple and their paralyzed son. The house was surrounded by water. School center. Anyone have an inflatable boat? Michael answered. Fire department has one. Bring it here. Oak Street 45. But Tom couldn't wait. He drove the pickup into the water. He found the Patterson family at the house. Stay calm. I'll handle this. First, he carried their paralyzed son. 180 pounds, but Tom lifted him like a child. Despite being 72, his strength was surprising. In 3 trips, he got the whole family to the pickup. Tom, how are you so strong? Adrenaline, ma'am. By 7 a.m., evacuation was complete. 134 people moved to safety, nobody injured. Everyone at the school was waiting for Tom. Bob stood up. Tom, what you did tonight wasn't normal mayor work. You need to tell us who you are. Tom quietly stepped forward. All eyes were on him. People of Cedar Creek, I've lived here 47 years. Been your mayor for 15, but before that, he took a deep breath. For 30 years, I served in the U.S. Army Special Forces, Green Beret. Retired with the rank of colonel. The room was completely silent. 3 tours in Vietnam, covert operations in Laos. During my military career, I received training in search and rescue, emergency management. Mary's eyes filled with tears. Why didn't you ever tell us? Because I didn't come here to fight wars. I came to live peacefully. But tonight, that experience saved lives. Linda asked, those emergency plans, drills, habit. A soldier never stops being prepared. I want to protect this town. Rebecca asked. Those commands, like you'd done it before. In 1975, on the Cambodia border was my last operation. Our base was attacked, 200 civilians trapped. I commanded evacuation operations for 3 days. Tonight brought back those days. Michael sat next to his grandfather. Why didn't you tell me? War stories aren't things to tell children. But when needed, those experiences are still here, he said, pointing to his chest. Bob stood up and started clapping. The whole room joined in. Please, I didn't do it for praise. I did it for your safety. That morning, the county emergency director came. Robert Hayes, 20-year veteran. Mayor Carter, this operation was perfect. No casualties. You've done this before. Hayes reviewed the file. Colonel Thomas Carter, are you the person who led the Bravo operation in Cambodia? Yes. Hayes saluted. Sir, that operation is taught as a case study at military academies. It's an honor to serve with you. Thank you. But now I'm just a town mayor. From that day, everything in Cedar Creek changed but stayed the same. Tom was still the same Tom, humble, helpful, patient. But people knew who he was. Neighboring towns requested training from Tom. Preparation doesn't hurt, he'd always say. Michael gained more respect for his grandfather. Will you tell me about those operations? When the time comes, son. Focus on your education, Mary asked. Do you miss military life? I missed serving, but I serve now too, just differently. Tom Carter is still Cedar Creek's mayor. Still drives around in the same pickup, doing the same jobs. But now the townspeople know who he is, and Tom is content with that. Because to him, real service isn't for bragging, it's for when it's needed. Michael will go to college, study emergency management. I want to be like Grandpa. Tom smiles. Be yourself, son, but be prepared. Life in Cedar Creek returned to normal. But everyone knows that when needed, their humble mayor is actually Colonel Thomas Carter, and he's always ready. Because to him, real heroes don't talk, they just do their duty. The story of 72-year-old humble Mayor Tom Carter ends here. But real heroes' stories never end, because they continue doing their duty every day, quietly. Have you met such quiet heroes in your life? Maybe you're such a hero in someone's eyes. Share with us in the comments. Thank you for joining the Last Stand family. We share stories daily, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. We'll be here again tomorrow with another hero's story. Take care of yourselves and remember, real strength is serving quietly.